We've got more religious callers. Let's talk to Wingo in Illinois. Wingo is calling and wants to talk about what religion is, as in why it exists and what purpose religion serves. And just to be clear, Wingo, are you there?
Yep.
So are you speaking as a religious person or are you speaking as an atheist? Because I've talked to lots of atheists who try and say that, well, this is what religion is. And it just comes off as really kind of callous and disingenuous. And I don't want to do that.
Oh, well, I definitely believe in like a higher power, but
Okay.
I don't like subscribe to any religion specifically.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sure you understand where I'm going with this. So
Sure.
What you're saying, what religion is, why it exists, and what purpose it serves. Let's hear it.
Well, if it's okay with you guys, I'd like to give you a little background on how I came to this conclusion. Instead of like just making a statement and spending like half the conversation trying to give it context. Is that
cool? Yeah, that works.
Yeah, as long as we're able to follow.
Cool,
yeah.
Cool. Okay, thanks guys. Well, pretty much like a few years ago, I was teaching my son some geography. He was about 8 years old at the time, and little dude hit me with the question. He was like, "Dad, like, what country invented art?" And I was like, "That's a good question, buddy."
Oh, that's adorable.
That's a really good question.
That is so adorable.
I had to thinking, and I was like, well, I suppose every civilization in recorded history has had art in one form or another.
Sure.
So that got me thinking, like, what else has every other civilization in recorded history had? Like, basically starting off with the basics, like physical tools, like hunting and like building, like shelter and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Every civilization has had mental tools, such as like language and like recorded history, whether it be like oral tradition or like written history.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that got me to the belief that religion is a spiritual tool that mankind has created throughout our history, dating back thousands of years, to help with our survival. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, since we're social creatures, like you mentioned earlier, like that's just a tool that we have used in order to help us survive in groups.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's just kind of what I...
So question. Are you saying that religion is just something people make up? Just like there's a need for it. Like I entirely agree. I actually move forward in that, and the way I understand it is people are naturally curious, and that curiosity, we don't like not having answers. And when we don't have answers, we often make up answers. And so if you don't know why, thunder and lightning are flashing across the sky, better to invent an answer than live in the fear of not knowing.
Well, I would imagine religion overlaps very much with our first attempts at science, right?
Sure.
Why does a thing happen? Let's do the best that we can with the knowledge that we have to explain it, which is why right now we're in conflict, because we're the urge to explain the things we don't know, or the things that scare us, or the things that make us, feel uncomfortable, are being addressed by two separate kind of ways of thinking. And to people on the outside, it's very clear which one has a track record of actually being right. But I think that you're right. I think it's a tool to explain the world around us, and maybe it's one we don't need anymore.
Question for you.
Oh, yeah, sure. Go ahead, man.
Oh, I'm so sorry. You were going to respond to V, and if I ask you a question, that's going to take you completely off, and you deserve the chance to respond. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, yeah, I just have like a very specific example of how like the magnitude of which religion has helped us like as a society. And it was pointed out by a stand-up comedian, which was awesome. But basically the bit was, he's like, what year do we live in? You know what I'm saying? It's like 2022, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's been 2022 years since what? Since humans existed, since Earth existed. It's like, no, it's been 2022 years since Jesus, right?
Well, kind of. It's
yeah.
been 2022 years.
You know what I mean? Just what's up?
No, yeah, I get where you're going with that for sure, but it's actually been
yeah.
2022 years since the existing world empire decided Jesus was born. So
Okay,
actually,
Beyond that, I'm just saying.
I'm actually gonna nerd V on this one.
Why we picked that number, right?
It's been about
whether he
1600
existed or
years.
not. It's the reason why we're in the year 2022 is because of that. Now, every single culture on the planet goes by the year 2022. So
no, they don't.
Literally,
Nope.
No, they don't.
well,
not
I mean,
at
not
all.
every developed country, pretty much. You know, what
No.
I mean, I know there's like all kinds of different.
Have you heard of Chinese New Year?
Have you?
Well, absolutely. But if you schedule a plane to go to China, it's going to be, March 20th, 2022. You know what I'm saying? Like we're like synchronized because of basically religion. You know what I mean? It took spiritual technology to synchronize the planet. Like no government did it, no politician, like no army did that.
No.
Scientist.
Actually, you're wrong. Armies did do that.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah, 100%.
It was entirely because of empire and expansion that we have this. It was the rule of the sword that enforced those things. And
it was the scientists who decided to utilize this across the board for better communication. Like there is no, like, religion might have been like a component at the beginning, but religion had nothing to do with the actual creation of this. Like it was all people advancing their own political and economic goals.
Yeah. So just to be clear, in I want to say it was 400. Oh gosh darn it! How long ago was it? 325 AD. The first Council of Nicaea moved over to the Gregorian calendar, and it was you have a lot of power moving out. You can track it with the growth of and spread of Rome, can't you?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, and as that moves out, as that kind of took root, that became the standard.
And now, not to dismiss the fact that Christianity was used as a political and military tool by Rome, that is accurate. But it wasn't religion that created 2022. It was politics and governments and who had the biggest gun, essentially.
Yeah, it's a really, really wild story. But
it's fascinating. I love that stuff. But I mean, the thing is, Wingo, I think we agree to an extent, for sure. It's just, I don't know, again, if we need to continue to utilize this particular tool in the way that we have been,
I absolutely 100% agree. You know what I mean? Just like, where would humanity be without the horse and carriage? You know what I mean? Like,
right, exactly.
We'd still be in the Stone Age. But yeah, I believe that we do need spiritual tools, though, in order to survive. But religion is definitely down there with like the horse and carriage. You know what I mean? It's antiquated.
Well, that's a good, that's a good comparison to what we were talking about earlier, right? You wouldn't say, well, the horse and carriage is responsible for NASCAR, right? Like, it was definitely a stepping stone to get to NASCAR, but it's definitely not the thing that made it happen. So, yeah.
For sure. Gotcha. But I believe that there are like technologies, like spiritual technologies in development, even like today, that are able to take that next step.
What's an example of spiritual technology and development today? I'm actually super curious about this.
Okay, and then I have a question.
The 12 steps is one of them, like definitely, because the 12 steps gives when people, like you said, need to search for answers, and like people have always looked outward to answers. God has the answers, or all these other things have the answers, but 12 steps make you look inward for the answers. You know what I mean? Like it's a higher power of your understanding, like what you have to come up with the answers. You know what I mean? Like what's meaningful to you and how to use that moving forward in your life.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I would point out that AA has about a 50% success rate, which is about the same success rate as coincidence. But, okay, point taken.
So just so correct, it was in the 1500s that we moved to the Gregorian calendar. It was much more recently. I was looking at the Julian calendar. So we had some pedants who I adore. Thank you, and keep holding us accountable so that we continue to give the best information that we can. Wingo, can I ask a question, or are
Absolutely,
you both
go for it.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So
Yes,
last thing before I move on to the next call. It sounds like you're saying that religion develops independent of whether or not a God exists.
I mean, yeah, it's it's just technology that mankind created. Like, I believe that there are things that in life that are beyond our capabilities to like affect, and that there must be higher things, bigger things out there.
I got you. I just want to be super clear on that, because if you think that religion develops as a tool by people, we agree, and as someone who believes in a higher power, it's just coincidental then that what you believe may happen to be true irrespective of the development of religion, which is a really interesting concept for me, because I see where you're going with it. I'm so used to callers calling in and using their religion to justify the existence of a God, and you're a person who believes in the existence of a God, and that it's just kind of coincidental that religion happens. And while we agree with you on the, people create religion thing, it's just interesting that you believe that there's a higher power at the same time. And I just kind of want to underscore that, because for people who are listening, they might be going, what exactly is the point? The point is, Wingo as a caller is saying that he accepts that a higher power exists, but that religion just happens in an entirely different space, that it's just something that develops. And I think that's really interesting.
Well, like the biggest question I would have for that is like, which religion is right? You know what I mean?
Or you know what I mean? Or none of them. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. Yeah.
But
I appreciate you guys so much, man. You guys are awesome, for real.
Oh, thank you.
Appreciate you back. It's always refreshing when someone is vulnerable and opens themselves up and are honest, and we respect that, and we want to try and give that in return. Thank you, V. I've lost my words today. Wingo, take care. Thank you for calling.
Have a good day. Thank you.
You too. Okay.